There are many places in the world where you can truly experience and feel the presence of God. You can go to Saint-Chapelle Cathedral in Paris and walk up the steps, and as the sun goes down and you see the sun blazing through the stained glass windows, there's just a kaleidoscope of color. You can feel God there. Or you can go to Scotland, to Iona, and climb up the windswept hills and see the ancient ruins below and see history and experience history, and you can feel God there. Or you can go to Chick-fil-A and experience God there. That is a holy place. Oh, it really is. I feel and experience God every time I'm there, and not just because of the delicious chicken. In fact, have you ever noticed as people leave Chick-fil-A, there's kind of a spring in their step? And it's because this amazing sense of customer service. They value each person who walks in there. Whenever you say thank you, how do they respond? My pleasure. I've always wondered why Chick-fil-A, beyond just a fantastic product, their service is just off the charts. There's a corporate training video. You can actually see it on YouTube. I've shown it many times here at Ascension. But they show this corporate training video to every single person who works at Chick-fil-A, from the floor mopper to an executive. It's called Every Life Has a Story. And the point of this video is to say that each person who walks in that restaurant, they are going through something. They are fighting some silent battle. They are struggling. And that each person who walks in that door, there's value. And so within the so as you watch this video, captions flash upon the screen upon every random customer that you see in Chick-fil-A. One woman sits with her children at the table, and the caption flashes below: single mom raising a family alone, trying to make ends meet. The camera pans across the room to a smiling little girl. Caption below it reads, "Mom died during childbirth and dad blames her." Caption fast forwards across, and a woman is sitting there just drinking a cup of coffee. Husband of 49 years died last month. Today would have been their anniversary. And then finally, a caption reads on a person handing a chicken sandwich to someone else, and it says, "Only son was deployed overseas to a war zone." Again, the point of all this is to communicate to the people who work at Chick-fil-A, provide a space where people can just come because they are struggling with something. Give them kindness. And one way to do that is to have deep empathy, to recognize that each person who walks in that door, caption could flash up below saying what they are struggling with, what they are going through. And sometimes that woundedness, it manifests itself in the open, either with a complaint, but more often than not, there's silence. There's pain that's out in the open, and there's pain that is silent. And that is what is so powerful about Mark's gospel, is that we see two types of requests. Jesus, heal my daughter, from the synagogue leader. That is a request that's done in the open. I need healing. And then there's a second request. There's pain that is silent. And the woman who's suffering from hemorrhaging never speaks a word to Jesus, but her pain is silent, but she reaches out to him. And in the midst of that chaos, Jesus feels it. And why does Jesus feel it? Because Jesus knows each and every person in that crowd. It's as though he could see a caption flashing up: woman suffering from hemorrhaging of 12 years. And she reaches out to him, and he responds through healing. In the same way that he responds to the synagogue leader, my daughter is dying. And Jesus responds. He heals. But in both instances, the person has to ask, The person has to approach Jesus one way or another, either silently or openly, but it is that reaching out to Jesus for healing. We've been talking a lot lately about healing, and I loved Bo's sermon last week. I don't know if you haven't, take a look at it online. It's fantastic. But he pointed out that we call this room the nave. As Episcopalians, we don't like to just say the same. We like to say the nave. But nave is Latin for boat, which is where you get navy from. And you look up in the ceiling, and architecturally, it's meant to look like the underside of a boat, and a boat that provides protection from the storms that rage outside of us. But beyond that, this is also a place of healing where we lay our brokenness before God and we ask God for healing, either aloud or silently. But I want to add to that. You know, in the back, it's not just a foyer, we call it a narthex, don't we? Yes, but there's a meaning behind that. Narthex in Greek, it means something that is wounded, a wounded or broken limb. And so there's something really powerful when all of us gather together in the narthex. We're all wounded or broken in some capacity. Each one of us could have a caption flash underneath us about our own struggles, either silently or aloud. And we make our way into the nave, into this place of healing, and we can make our appeals reaching out to Jesus either silently or aloud. And Jesus does receive us. And Jesus will heal us. I have absolutely no doubt about that, either on this side of God's kingdom or within God's kingdom. But there's a third piece to that. Jesus and God provides and asks us that we also participate in that healing, is that as we open ourselves for God's healing, we strengthen ourselves so that we can heal others. Bishop Cole, a couple of weeks ago, met with the vestry, and he said, you know what I love about church now? People come to church because they want to come to church. This isn't like the 1950s where church was just like the Rotary Club and you did it just to make connections. The people who are here now, you all are the countercultural ones. You all are the rebels. Yeah, y'all look like rebels out there. But I'd like to think that those of us who come to church, we have the courage to say, God, I'm broken. I need healing. But also the courage to receive that healing. And when it works well, the courage and the strength to help heal others. And one way we do that is we recognize and know that each and every one of us, we are all bonded together as one. We're all broken in some way. We all have our own battles to fight. We all have our own struggles, either silently or openly. And we all need God's healing. Imagine how the world would change if we could see the caption that each person has below them in the same way in a Chick-fil-A video. I think healing and passageways of healing could begin to open. And so, my dear rebels, as we come together in this church, we're all traveling together inside this boat, aren't we? We're all traveling together as one. We're all broken. We all need God's healing. And so we come here to open ourselves up to God's healing, and then when doing that, we share God's healing with one another. And when we do that, we come a little bit closer to revealing the kingdom of heaven here on earth. Amen.